Let's travel into the future.
I've always looked at the future. I started off my practice, and my practice was about the future without me knowing it. I think the future knew I was looking for it long before I knew I was looking for it. My parents were refugees. The only thing that kept them going, literally, was believing that there was a better tomorrow. There had to be. It just couldn't be what it was yesterday. It's the journey that you and I go on every single day. It is the journey that we fellow futurists take each other on, because each and every one of you is indeed a futurist. Each and every one of you makes a decision at this moment for what you think the future might look like. And with that decision and that thinking, you pack your bags and you move forward. I didn't like talking about numbers. I didn't like talking about the past because I couldn't influence any of those. But I knew if we had a really good, robust understanding of where we were likely to head and what the marketplace wanted from it, that we could make some really killer decisions about what tomorrow would look like. And that was about 25 years ago when I got brave to have just those conversations and nothing else.
Joining us now is the man who has peered into the future and brought back this truly disturbing news, Morris Miselowski. Morris, whenever the government talks about increasing the retirement age by like a year, there are riots in the streets. How are we possibly going to get to a point where we're working into our 90s?
Well, firstly, we're going to get rid of the government. I mean, let's just not include it in this conversation.
Fantastic.
There are lots of reasons people come to me, but I think they all boil down to the same thing. There's something tickling them about tomorrow that they're not quite sure about. They know that the world is going to change for them in some way, and they want their business to react ahead of it. So it's all about provoking a different thought about tomorrow. Whether I'm on stage where I get to talk to 100, 1,000, 10,000 people and provoke them into thinking different, stretch their minds, or whether I'm sitting around a board table, or whether it's one-on-one or one-on-a-few in a strategy session, where really what I'm attempting to do is to stretch their thinking.
Eye on the Future 咨询公司创始人爱因斯坦G100全球智库专家 Morris Miselowski 带来他的精彩分享。智慧城市无限想象 ，Imagine the possibilities of a smart city。大家掌声欢迎 ，Welcome。
It's never about predicting. It's always about imagining the possibilities. It's about hypothesizing what a future might look like and then living that before it becomes a reality. What we're going to find is the grocery shopping, for instance, is starting at home. So our smart fridges, our smart cupboards will actually tell us what's there and what's not. When we go into the supermarket, it'll bring that list with us electronically. So my Dick Tracy watch, for instance, is something I would carry around with me. It would know all my personal information. It also has my wallet in it. So when I walk out the checkout with the groceries I've just bought, it says, "Thanks, Morris, for shopping," and I keep walking.
Wow.
There's lots of things that I'm able to use, and I'm lucky enough to have done it for 30 plus years across 160 industries. And that's important because I think breadth is really important to any single conversation I need to have. I've been lucky enough to work with thousands of companies. There are so many examples, but some of the ones that I love are working with Ridley, looking at the future of agriculture about 7 or 8 years ago. Worked with Simmons Searle, talking about the future of beds and how that might look into a landscape of tomorrow. And they were a bunch of manufacturers who were very much about the foam and the springs. I worked with McGill's University in Canada, talking about the future of what an alumni would be and how they can bring back their alumni over and over again by looking at the world very differently and making them brand ambassadors. I worked with the Swiss Hotel around the globe, talking about what the future experience of hotels would be, how guests would want to come to them, what they would need of them. We know that the world is forever changing. We know that today we do the best with what we have, who we are, and what we know. But we also know that tomorrow we might know a little better, have a little different, do a little more, and the future will change for us. The reality is that we're all human. Really all we're talking about in the future is humanity. We haven't really changed in all the millenniums that we've been on this planet. Our basic needs and wants have always been the same. To me, since I started this all those years ago, the simplest question I need to answer is, how does this new technology, this new thing, this new thinking affect our basic needs and wants? For over 30 years, I've been hypothesizing and imagining and dreaming about what the future looks like. Turns out, I was right.